Hello, everybody. My name is Jennifer Hadley. I am so grateful to be here today. Thank you for having me. I am the founder of Fierce Mom Personal Coaching, and I am so excited to be part of this event, this week-long event of mental health awareness and strategy and consideration and thought and inspiration. And I'm so impressed with all of the other speakers that are going to be featured and that have been featured already. So if you haven't been taking part, please join in the conversation, join in the chats and in the comments and everything, because really talking about our mental health is so important, and it's so underserved. We're so underserved in that area because we focus on a lot of other things, but our mental health really sometimes just takes a beating. And I'm so glad and so grateful to Community Now magazine and to Krista Malden for arranging all of this and putting it together and collecting such an amazing group of speakers. What a gift. We are so lucky to be part of this, and thank you for inviting me to join you. I hope that you get something out of this, and I hope that you find a little nugget here and there of goodness from me or from anyone else that you've experienced in this event. So I'm here to talk about goal setting, and I'm also here to talk about what happens when things kind of fall apart. So first thing I want to do is, it's very simple. I have sort of like a checklist or a form that I usually like to give. I do this one with my kids often. This one is a simplified version because my kids are young. They're 10 and 8. And what I really want to do is just make it simple, because a lot of times when we talk about goals and goal setting, it can seem sort of overwhelming because we think about long term or big things, but it doesn't always have to be such a huge thing. It can just be a smaller, just a little thing that we want to get done and need to focus our attention on and our time on. And having a plan to do that really is the one that is what's going to help make a difference. So I'm going to do a quick little screen share here, and hold on just one second. Let's talk quickly about how we set goals. So here is my example. I use this with my kids all the time, and we go through this probably once a month, and we do check-ins all the time just to see where we're at. And it's a really great opportunity and a really great easy reminder of how to set our goals. So it's very simple. My goals by, and then I have my kids put their name there. This is a great exercise to do on your own or with your children. I find that having something to look forward to and having something to work towards really makes a difference. So we're going to focus on one thing. My goal is whatever that goal happens to be. If it's weight loss for you, or learning a new skill, or achieving something that you haven't achieved yet that you've been thinking about. Like for me, I wanted to start my coaching business. So my goal was to put a website in place and to get my certification and to do all of the little things that you have to do in order to get to where you want to be. So that's the goal part. So, but it has to be specific. It has to be measurable. Like everybody knows about SMART goals, right? Specific, measurable, attainable, timely, and realistic, or realistic and timely. That's the RT part. Sometimes I forget how to spell because I get so excited about goal setting. So make sure that it's specific. You can't just say, I want to lose weight. I want to lose 25 pounds. And you can't just say that I want to lose 25 pounds, because you need to put a time limit on it. Otherwise, it's just going to go on and on forever. And then 30 years later, you still haven't gotten there yet. So you need to put a time limit. You have to make sure that it's attainable. If you say you want to lose 300 pounds, make sure you have 300 pounds to lose, because otherwise we're kind of unattainable here and it's not realistic either. So be smart about your SMART goals, but also give it a little bit of a push. Make it something that's going to be hard and something that's going to be worth it. So my target date, that's your timing. So let's say I want to lose 25 pounds by March 30th. So that's when I would write that in. To reach my goal, I will do these 3 things. And then you just state them. I'm going to exercise more. I'm going to meditate or sleep better. I'm going to eat a healthier diet. Whatever those 3 things are, those are the 3 things that you're going to need to do in order to achieve your goal. And these can be broken down even further. When I do my coaching, we break these into actually actionable steps. But just as an overarching sort of big picture view, this is a really great sort of example just for people who are just getting into goal setting. So what are the 3 things that you need to do? And then I know I will have I know I've achieved my goal because, and then you fill in the blank. How do you know when you get to that point? The number on the scale will show, your clothes will fit you differently. You might even get to go shopping and buy a new wardrobe. Whatever the answer is, that you'll know that you've completed this goal. That's what goes in there, so that you know, oh, I've hit that. That's done. I've reached my goal. And then the two things that are going to help me stick to reaching my goal. What are the things that you need to motivate you to keep going? Because a lot of times, and we know this, we fall into distractions, or we fall into situations that just get in our way, and that always happens. So this is sort of the obstacle management piece, I guess you can call it. So the things that will help you stick to reaching your goal are the things that are going to get rid of those obstacles along the way. Motivation, maybe accountability. That is usually a really big one in keeping with our goals, no matter what they are. Having someone to report to and to say, hey, I'm doing this, and this got me here, is a really great opportunity to share our successes, and also talk about maybe there was an issue, maybe there's some stress around it, and how to get through that. So that's either with coaching, or with a trainer, or with a nutritionist, or a friend that's doing it with you. Either way, those things are going to help you reach your goal. So make sure that you write down what you need in order to get to that point. First, you'll probably need a gym membership or some sort of activity plan, and you'll need a meal plan or some sort of nutrition idea. So those are the things that you're going to need. Very, very simple. And I'll make sure that Krista has a copy of this, so that whoever is attending and interested, you can definitely get it. Fiercemom.ca is my website, and you're welcome to send me a message if any of this makes any sense or doesn't. Please reach out. I'm happy to go through it with you and talk about that. Also, I wanted to talk about another concept. I'm going to stop sharing. Hi again. I'm going to stop sharing, and we're going to talk about something else that gets in the way. So when we talk about goals, it's all great and wonderful to have goals, but then sometimes things just happen, right? Things hit the fan and we get sidetracked and we get stressed out, and no matter who you are, something is going to get in your way sometime. So this is where we bring in a little trick that I like to use. It's called the sphere of influence. And it's a technique that I use often with my clients. And it's a great tool to use when we're feeling overwhelmed and unsure of what to do next. Because that happens. No matter how prepared you are, things happen and get in the way. And then we feel overwhelmed, which is a sense of helplessness and a loss of control, right? So the sphere of influence takes us on a quick little empowerment journey, which I really love. And it helps us take back control and focus. Because what happens is we only focus on two things. We focus on one, the things that we can influence, and two, the things that are within our control. So everything else that's outside of those two things are outside of our zone and need to be released. Because too often we spend so much time and energy trying to work through problems and challenges and situations that we can't change. And this is why overwhelm and stress and frustration, and physiologically we start having responses, because we just don't know what to do, because we can't figure it out, right? So when we stop and we think about what the situation actually is, we are better equipped to dealing with whatever that is and get back on track. So this exercise is going to help us gain insight and understanding on what to walk away from, because we know that our time and our energy is better spent on things that we can change over the things that we can't. So the first thing we're going to do is identify the problem or the challenge that we're facing, whatever the situation is that's triggering the overwhelm. And you can even do this in a team setting. I like to do it personally, one-on-one with my clients, but sometimes when we do it in a team setting where we sit around our boardroom, well, now it's a virtual boardroom, but we have an actual situation where we're all trying to deal with within our organization, whether it's a project that went wrong, or maybe there's a problem with interpersonal relations, or whatever it might be. This situation kind of works with a lot of different obstacles. So the spheres of influence I really, really like, because it can be used for a number of different kinds of challenges. So we're going to first identify the issue. I'm going to just throw out an example that maybe we're scared that we're going to lose our job because our companies are downsizing. We're seeing that all over the world. We're seeing it everywhere, especially in Calgary. So stressful, but we need to kind of figure out how to manage that and how to deal with that stress, because we all know stress is a killer, and we know that depression is on the rise, and we know that it's a lot of the times because of things that we can't control, that really we let that in, and it soaks up all of our energy, and we don't want to do that. So I'm going to do another screen share with you here, and then we're going to go through this little exercise. So just give me 1 second, and I'm going to bring you back to another example. So this is what I call, and what I've seen everywhere else is called the sphere of influence. And what that means is that we've got in the green section the things that we have control over. So with the example of us not having, potentially losing our jobs because of downsizing, the things that we can control are being on time, the effort that we put in, the commitment that we have to our roles, how much work we do, if we're doing it the way that we're supposed to, the expectations, if we're meeting expectations. And even sometimes if there's an opportunity for a pay cut or time cut, it's in our control if we want to take it or not, right? So those are the things that we have full control over, because it reflects on our own personal effort and work. And then we have the pink area here, which is the sphere of influence. And the sphere of influence is some examples of that are, how do we adapt to change? Can we learn some new opportunities? Maybe, in this world that we've gone from in-person everything to online, we've had to shift, and we've had to learn how to use technology and how to use the internet and Zoom and Skype and all of those other programs, because we've had to adapt and change. So maybe there's an opportunity for us to be able to keep our job if we learn how to adapt to that, and learning new things and taking it as an opportunity instead of as a challenge. Another opportunity that you have some influence over is maybe just talking to your boss and saying, hey, I'm scared that I'm in a position where I might lose my job. What are some of the things that I can do to keep my work, to keep my job in place? And a lot of times, even just showing that initiative and showing that you care enough that you want to have that conversation really will make a difference. And it shows that you're a team player and that you're interested in staying. So when they're doing the chopping block, you might be safe from that, just from having that one conversation, because you've got some insight on how to maintain your position. And maybe there are some tips and tricks that they will have that will sort of show you how to stay, or maybe they'll teach you something new, or those are things that you have influence over. And then we get to the other piece, this big, huge white square around it, which is everything else, absolutely everything else. And those are the things that we have zero control over, that oftentimes we stress the most out about. The economy, lockdowns, politics, the law, things like that, the weather, whatever it happens to be, somebody else's opinion, somebody else's fears that get in our head and get in our way. Those are things that really we have no control over. All we have control over is how we perceive and how we react. So you can't do anything about the weather. You can't do anything about the economic situation currently in that moment. So why stress about it? Why give it all of this energy that you have when you could really be spending the time on your sphere of control and your sphere of influence, trying to change the control that you have? That's where the money is. That's where the gold is. That's where the piece of you taking back the focus and taking back that overwhelm and saying, I'm not going to be overwhelmed by this because I have no control over it. There's nothing I can do. So a lot of times, and I'm just going to stop my screen share here. Hi again. A lot of times what happens is this will alter after we've done this exercise. And I really like to do this exercise, obviously more in depth, but once we do this exercise, we can take an inventory of the things that we can control. We look at our little bubbles and we say, okay, these are the things that I can do something about. I can tweak my future in a sense. I can tweak my own situation here. The other things, when we look at them and we say, okay, this I really have no control over, it's going to change your focus and your perspective and your feelings of overwhelm over those specific things. Even if it's a subconscious thing, just writing it down and knowing I can't do anything about this will make a huge difference in the way that you see it. So however that works for you is an opportunity for you to alter the way you think about your approach to the situation. Is there more clarity around the big picture? Is there something I can do instead? How can I put more things in the green circle and into the pink circle? And what are those things that I need to do so that I can really focus and take control back into my own life and not worry about the rest? I know that's easier said than done. I know that that's a little tough sometimes, but really knowing for sure that we have control over certain things and we don't over others is really going to change a lot of the way that you think about things. So after you do this exercise with one thing, look at another opportunity, look at another situation that you're dealing with. Maybe it's a problem relationship where you feel like you're stuck in this relationship that you don't want to be in. Do the exercise. What are the things that you can control? Your own emotions, your own contribution to the relationship, your own feelings on how things are working, your own level of forgiveness if there's something that you're stuck on or you're stubborn about and you don't want to give on it. That's for you to control. That's a you problem, right? But then if you look at your sphere of influence, what can you do to make it better? Maybe you need to learn the other person's love language, or maybe you need to step back and reevaluate your own effort and your own input. And then, of course, the things that aren't in your control are the other person's behaviors, the other person's feelings. Whatever they're doing and feeling has nothing to do with anything we can help with. So it's, and I find it really interesting when people go to couples therapy. They should never do that together, because really what happens is they bring both of the issues together and it seems like a blame game, right? But if we were to take couples therapy separately and we were to say, I'm going to work on my own things here and you're going to work on your own things there, and we're going to come in together and build this perfect little pink sphere of influence where we can help each other out and we can make our relationship work stronger, then all those other things are no longer major issues, right? Because we've figured out where we have control and we figured out where we didn't. So I hope that that's helped. I hope that's given you a little bit of insight. It's just a little taste. I know we only have 20 minutes, so I wanted to share whatever I could. I hope that goal setting is something that's on your radar, because we're looking into 2021 and we really need to make a plan, because if we don't have a plan, then we're going to plan to fail, right? That's what they say. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So I'm here to help. If you have any questions or if you want to have a conversation with me, you can find me at fiercemom.ca or jennifer@fiercemom.ca. All of my information is going to be available to you. And I am so happy to continue the conversation with you as well. So happy rest of the week. I hope you all get something out of this. And once again, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for including me. And I really hope that you're healthy and well, and wishing everyone a happy holidays and a happy new year, and bring on 2021 with like seriously big goals and big dreams, and not only that, but actionable steps to make them happen. So have a wonderful day, everyone. Thank you so much for listening. And once again, I'm Jennifer Hadley with Fierce Mom Personal Coaching. Take care.